Hey guys, it's Mike here, and welcome to another edition of Dragon Ball Super Reviews, which I'm going to be reviewing Dragon Ball Super Episode 27 and 28, and then giving my predictions for what's going to happen in Episode 29. I'm a little bit late to the party, I'm kind of emulating BLACKENFIST over here, but without further ado, let's jump into this review. So let's start off with episode 27. I really liked episode 27, and there's a lot of reasons as to why, and I'll kind of break down exactly why that is. First off, the reintroduction and the more proper introduction of Champa and his assistant Vados. So Champa and Vados have been something I was really interested in ever since they were actually introduced in the promotional material for this new series, Dragon Ball Super, and then of course as they showed up in the manga and then eventually in the anime recently. And that is in large part because of the fact that they are the new god of destruction and his assistant, which is exploring and expanding upon that lore that was introduced originally way back when in the Battle of Gods movie. The idea of these 12 universes and other gods of destruction, other characters out there who were even more powerful than Goku and probably Beerus as well. And so when they actually introduced and showed off Champa, I was really happy because of the fact that we're finally getting these new characters that they actually were foretold about previously in that movie, seemingly so long ago at this point. So I was certainly delighted when in this episode we actually got to see more of Champa as a character along with Vados as his attendant. We got to see that this character is not just like Beerus, but rather he's sort of a snot-nosed brat. He's fat and he loves to eat and he gets out of breath really quickly when he's walking even a short distance. It's kind of funny, the guy has probably enough power to easily beat Goku, Vegeta, and Golden Frieza, which are the most powerful characters other than Beerus up until this point in time, and yet the dude can't even walk a mile without being covered in sweat.
That's because he's doing cardio. Cardio is only for pussies like you. But yeah, I agree. He's fat. That fat fuck.
And of course, Vados is really interesting to see because she's obviously the alternate female counterpart of Whis. And of course, she's his twin sister, just as Champa is Beerus' twin brother. Although very similar to Whis, Vados is certainly very mysterious, and I'm sure that there's a lot more to be revealed about her as time progresses, just as it has been with Whis. And the reason I'm starting off with them is essentially that in this episode, pretty much everything revolves around them, and Champa issuing a sort of challenge to Beerus. Basically, in this episode, Champa shows up with food from Universe 6, the universe in which he is the god of, and he and Beerus have a sort of taste-off, exchanging food from different universes to one another. At this point, Champa has ramen noodles, and at this point, he realizes that Earth from Universe 7 has the greatest food he has ever tasted in his life. So he goes and he has Vados look at his own Earth in Universe 6. However, as he learns, some sort of war decimated and destroyed all life on the planet. So at this point, Champa looks at Beerus and he says, "I challenge you to a fight." Of course, Beerus takes this the wrong way, insults Champa, and the two begin to actually have a brawl, and everything around them begins to be destroyed, as Goku and Vegeta, who are trained with Beerus and Whis, look on in awe of their power. But at this point, Whis and Vados break up their fight and tell them that if the two of them fight, both of their universes will be destroyed, which is definitely an interesting concept. I don't necessarily know if this meant that their power is so great they would actually destroy both universes in proximity to one another, or perhaps maybe it's that the gods of the different universes have some sort of specialized energy that when they clash, like matter and antimatter will come together and destroy everything. It's certainly something that I hope they expand upon in the future, explain a little bit better, and maybe get shown in practice. Maybe with some other gods of destruction if we see anything past this next arc. But basically at this point in time, Champa told Beerus that he actually misunderstood him, and what he actually wants is to have a tournament with 5 members of his team and 5 members of Beerus's from their both respective universes. And at this point, Champa tells Beerus that he's collected things known as Super Dragon Balls and has 6 of the 7, and very similar to our own Dragon Balls, when you collect all of them, they grant you a wish. However, these are the original and the most powerful Dragon Balls there are, and these ones are actually the size of planets, and they can grant you any wish no matter what it is. And essentially in this case, what Champa says is that in the case that he wins, he will swap the different universes' Earth, so he can get the main Earth, so he can can eat their food. However, if Beerus actually happens to win this tournament, Champa will give him all of his Super Dragon Balls. However, in this case, there happens to be a snag, because Champa has only collected 6 of them, and Beerus says there's no way that he could find the 7th one. But at this point, Goku jumps in and says that Bulma could probably create a Dragon Radar to find the other 7th Super Dragon Ball to complete the set. Goku also says that he wants to join in the tournament so that he could fight other people who would be able to challenge him, and Vegeta agrees that he also wants to be a part of the team. So at this point, and at the end of the episode, wrapping everything up, Beerus accepts Champa's offer. Now the next episode immediately begins after this one. After Champa and Beerus have decided to have this tournament, they establish the rules, which are pretty much the same rules as the Tenkaichi Budokai. No weapons, no killing, and if you get knocked outside the ring or knocked out, you lose. The tournament's going to be held on some nameless planet in neutral territory, and naturally, because of the Dragon Ball trope that things have to happen in a short period of time, this tournament's gonna happen in 5 days. And this episode pretty much revolved around making the preparations and doing things before the coming of this tournament. The very first thing that happened is that Beerus and Whis asked Bulma to try and find a way to find the last Super Dragon Ball, which is located in Universe 6. Of course, when they actually gather the Dragon Balls and summon Shenron and wish for him to tell them where the last Super Dragon Ball is, Shenron says that it is beyond his power because it is impossible for him to be able to search out everything in the entire universe to find one object, especially if it's not his own universe. So Bulma is thus forced to create a Super Dragon Ball radar. However, as Goku tries to grab it so that he could test it out, Bulma reveals that she must go to the center of the universe in order to use it because the universe is so big and Earth is on the outer edge of it. So in order to accomplish getting there on her own, she calls up her sister Tights. And of course, Tights is a character who was introduced in the Jocko the Galactic Patrolman manga, and is the reason why Bulma knows Jocko and why he was a part of the resurrection of F-Arc. And basically, Bulma asks Tights to get her in touch with Jocko out in space. And she does, and at first Jocko doesn't want to have anything to do with Bulma's mission, until of course she says that she'll sick Vegeta on him, so of course he immediately obliges. And that essentially set up the coming search for the 7th Super Dragon Ball. But on the flip side of this, in this episode we also see Champa and Vados going over to the nameless planet, and once they get there, they decide to do a little bit of remodeling, creating an arena, a ring, and most importantly a powerful force field that will be able to hold the fighters of the different universes within it. Once they're actually on this planet, Champa and Vados are discussing what will happen with this tournament. Vados doesn't necessarily like the idea of gambling these Super Dragon Balls that they work so hard to get, but Champa says that after he sees Goku on Beerus' planet, he thinks that he has the whole thing in the bag. He also says something interesting, that he knows that Goku and Vegeta are Saiyans, and says that they should probably get a Saiyan of their own. So that was a lot of foreshadowing for this upcoming tournament. And finally, there was another character and another interesting concept introduced, as in this episode they introduced that there was another character named Manaka, and this character is actually the #1 strongest fighter that Beerus has ever faced before, and even stronger than Goku and Vegeta. Beerus told Goku that he could pick whoever he wanted for the other 2 members of his team, but he demanded that Goku pick Manaka to be a part of it. So overall, that was both of these episodes in a nutshell, and I have to say that I loved both of them, and together I think these two are arguably the 2 best episodes in the series thus far, especially the latter one. And as a matter of fact, I actually got sort of emotional watching this because the fact that we're actually seeing brand new Dragon Ball in a brand new chapter in a brand new Dragon Ball series. No more are we seeing rehashes of old movies, we are seeing brand new content. It made me very happy as a Dragon Ball fan for so many years. There was some great action, there was some great comedy, and of course the biggest thing that I always liked, the expansion of the world and of the lore and of things to come. And all of that made these episodes great. But speaking of things to come, let's get into my predictions. As we saw in the next episode preview, it seems like things are building up to the next coming tournament. And there's two big things that are going to happen in this. First off, with regards to the tournament that we know for a fact, it appears that in the next episode, from what we could see, Goku is going to be telling Vegeta about his plan for them to train in the hyperbolic time chamber for 3 days or 3 years straight. And this is something that we actually see in the Dragon Ball Super manga. So it's possible that in this episode or the episode after that, they're going to enter into that time chamber. And I'm sure since it's an anime, they're probably going to show us a little bit more of their training than the manga did. Very akin to Gohan and Goku training in the time chamber in the Cell Saga. And I really hope they don't simply gloss over this kind of training like they did with the Frieza training, and we actually get to see that kind of bonding of Goku and Vegeta for 3 years straight of intense training. It's definitely something that could be used in a lot of good ways for character development and development of their relationship as friends. But there is another kind of training that seems to be shown in this trailer. It's something that I've been hoping for a very long time, and that is Gohan and Piccolo training. It seems that Toei actually delivered on what they set up before, and Gohan is actually training once again to try and bring out his hidden potential, or perhaps to grow even stronger than he had been before. In either case, it definitely seems like they're going to be training in the next coming episode, and it definitely makes me wonder about Gohan's role coming in this future tournament that's going to happen in 5 days. And you could check out my full thoughts on that in the video right here. But in either case, this has been another edition of Dragon Ball Super reviews and predictions. Tell me your own thoughts. What did you think of these past 2 episodes? Did you like them? Did you dislike them? Did you agree with me, or did you disagree? Let me know your own thoughts down below, as well as your predictions for what's going to happen in the next coming episodes of Dragon Ball Super. Also, don't forget to like, comment, share this video with your friends so we can make more videos like this in the future, and subscribe. And as I always say, stick around because there's a lot more to come in the future.